As you walk through the woods, you notice a faint green fog blowing on the winds. You come into a small clearing and you hear the sound of metal grinding. You look up and you see this massive, metallic, bull-like creature. Roll initiative. Welcome! I'm Baron, and this is the Blue Dragon Guild, a channel all about Dungeons and Dragons. Today, we are talking about one of my all-time favorite monsters, the Gorgon. This hulking, metal behemoth is a monster that you don't want to be face-to-face with if you are all alone. But with the right party, it's probably the perfect monster. As I said in our Nolzur's Wave 12 review, which this guy came from, they are one of my favorite monsters. The first time I ever encountered them in D&D was when Dave threw them at us. We were on this riverboat that had this weird, arena that kind of opened up on it. They had a Gorgon on there that we ended up fighting, and we stomped it. The Gorgon, much like the Scarecrow, is a monster that I feel doesn't get utilized in very many games. I know when I'm looking for monsters, I look at it and I'm like, oh, the Gorgon, that looks awesome. Where am I going to put it? Does it fit the scene that I'm in right now? Maybe, maybe not. But it's one that I definitely need to use more. So let's take a quick look at the Gorgon's stats. It's a large monstrosity, CR5. They have this ability called Trampling Charge. If the Gorgon moves 20 feet towards a target in a straight line, and they hit with a gore attack on that same turn, that target must succeed on a DC 16 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. And if the target is knocked prone, the Gorgon can make a bonus attack with its hooves. For its actions, it has gore plus 8 to hit, and then 2d12 plus 5 piercing damage. Then its hoof attack is 2d10 plus 5. And then here's the big thing that makes these guys scary: petrifying breath. The Gorgon exhales a petrifying gas in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 13 Constitution saving throw. On the failed save, the target begins to turn to stone. On a failed save, the target begins to turn to stone and they are restrained. The restrained target must repeat this save at the end of its next turn. On a successful save, the effect ends. And on a failed save, you're petrified until you're freed by the effects of a greater restoration spell. So petrifying breath, not anything to mess with. There is a recharge on this. It's a roll of 5 or 6. So it's a 1/3 chance that it's going to happen to you. So you might be being petrified. But the good thing is, it is a little lower of a saving throw. So, I mean, DC 13, that's pretty easy. Just hope that your dice don't betray you that day. So when I got to thinking about how I would use the Gorgon in a game, I had a lot of trouble with this because I've never used them in a game. So I had to think, how am I going to implement this? Then I got to thinking about some of my other favorite monsters. The Gorgons, they're fairly territorial. They're a big metal monster. What other metal monsters are there? The Bullet. The Bullet is a really fun monster. It burrows around. It looks like it's made of metal. So I don't know why, but I thought, well, how about you have a territory battle between a Gorgon and a Bullet? It might not be an encounter that your party jumps in the middle of, but it might be something that they happen upon, or maybe even it spills out into wherever your party's at. The other idea I had for the Gorgon was to have them be the guardian of something for some big bad guy. They're not generally a tameable monster, but it's D&D. You can do whatever you want. So I thought it would be fun to pair the Gorgon with a ranger, have them be the ranger's pet. That could be a really fun dynamic in the battle. The ranger's calling out commands to the Gorgon's attacking whatever. I don't know. I thought it would be really interesting just because it's a monster you don't really see in that tameable kind of light. And then another idea I had was to pair the Gorgon with its namesake, the Medusa. Your party could stumble on this old abandoned building. There's just all these statues everywhere of all these adventurers. Some of them look scared, some of them look like they're battling. So they're walking around, looking at all these statues. The Medusa's already figured out that she's got some intruders. So what's she do? She sends the Gorgon out. And if you want to make it even more difficult, send the Medusa and the Gorgon out. Everybody will be turned to stone by the end of the encounter. Maybe. So the Gorgon. Have you ever used one in your D&D game? If so, tell us about it down in the comments below. And if you want to see some weekly D&D content, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to see another video about some awesome monsters, check this playlist right here. And until next time, keep the dice rolling.